Hey y'all, Big Z. Hope everyone's doing good. And as always, thank you for your continued support and the thumbs up and the comments. I greatly appreciate them. Even the ones that are really kind of shitty, I enjoy, I enjoy those comments too. Anyway, it's just to get something back is great, because when you put, content out that's controversial, just getting crickets is kind of because you don't know how people perceive it. So anyway, I really appreciate it. If you write a comment and I don't reply, hang on. Sometimes I get some days or maybe a week behind, but I will respond. And if I don't, do it again, because some stuff gets blocked, but I do like to reply to everyone and say thank you, good or bad comments. Having said that, this video today is going to be about we're going into church today, and I wasn't sure how I was going to title this video, but I think I'm going to do it like this, because I've got a overall war plan that I'm in right now, because you know that I'm going after two men, and to do this, to take these two free masonic douchebags out, I got to get a lot of leverage, and I'm putting some major fucking heat on these guys. Anywho, so I'm going to title this video, "Are They Trafficking Children Through the Churches in Clermont, Florida?" And Clermont is a town that is west central Florida. Most everybody knows Orlando, Disney. Disney's kind of near Kissimmee. Kissimmee's west Orlando, but actually that area is the number 2, we're told, the number 2 destination in the U.S. for trafficked children. And we're going to explain to you why that's taking place over there. I'm shooting outside today. It's blowing northeast. It's hard off the ocean, so sorry you don't get the backdrop of the beach today, but it is fucking cold. And I'm in the sun, so it feels good over here. Okay, so I'm moving in that direction, and we're going after. I realize the overall, not just the war I'm in, this personal war I'm in, exposing the men that did this horrible thing to me and my wife, and she was, I've said this in the previous video. I can come out and tell you now, she was RAPED'd by these men, and these are serious crimes. And so you're dealing with a lot of, when people commit crimes at this level, they will do anything to keep them, but they don't get exposed. And I'll say this, if you go to war, we're going to talk a lot about fighting in my upcoming videos. I'm going to take all my years that I applied fighting Muay Thai and all my years in freestyle grappling and jiu-jitsu, and I really apply it towards how I make war with this thing. But when you go to battle with someone, give them an escape, give them a way out, give them a back door. If you make the only way for them to get out is to go through you, some people are turned into fucking rabid raccoons, and they, like, if you back a raccoon in the corner, you don't want to do that. When that raccoon realizes the only way he's going to get out is through you, you're going to wish like hell you fucking didn't give that raccoon another way to go, because they are fast and vicious. Having said that, make sure we give them an escape out, but that's the direction we want them to go. Here they ran off this way, but it's about how to move. It's really a chess move. So anyway, and I don't want to give too much more away other than say this, that very strategic how we're going to do this. And church is the Christianity church today is the, how do I say that? It's the power block of everything. Until we crack it, we're wasting our fucking time. Okay, so titling the video, I think, is Central Florida, Clermont, Florida churches trafficking children. And absolutely, yes, they are. And there is no better place to traffic a child than through a church. And I'm going to show you why that is and how they've had such great success in it. But I'm going to back up a few videos. If you've watched my series, ones I did on the Poseidon Adventure, being in an inverted world, I think that's really important we're on that ship, man. We're fucking inverted. So the exit, to get down, you got to go up. You know where I was going with this. Okay. I did a video years ago on the pizza restaurants over on BitChute, and it's probably got me in more trouble than all of them put together. And if you've heard it, just bear with me. I'm going to run you through an analogy here. So a man takes his family out to dinner at a pizza restaurant, and he sits down with his wife and daughter and friends, and they get ready to order the menu, and the father looks around and says, "Hey, this place really isn't a pizza restaurant." And the waiter overhears him say this and says, "Excuse me, sir?" He goes, "Well, yeah." He goes, "It's not really a pizza restaurant." And the waiter says, well, I've been working here for 2 years. This is the menu. The only thing we fucking serve is pizza. So, excuse me, sir, I would probably have to say, we're a pizza restaurant. And the man kind of laughs. He's, yeah, but okay, I know you serve pizza, but you're really not. And the waiter gets really pissed. He goes back, tells the cook, who's part owner, and the cook gets fucking fired up over it. So he comes out and says, excuse me, sir, are you telling people in my restaurant I'm not a pizza restaurant? And the man says, well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. He goes, hey, why don't you come with me? So the owner takes the man into the back room. He says, look, I don't know what your fucking problem is, but here's the kitchen. Here's the dough. Here's the fucking thing where we spin the pizza. Here's the flour. There's the fucking cheese, the ovens, and everything else. We make pizzas. That's all we fucking do here is make pizzas. And the guy says, sir, I know what you're saying, and I see all this wonderful equipment and all your inventory and your food stuff, but you're not really a pizza restaurant. And the owner of the cook grabs his fucking meat cleaver. He's going to chop this fucking guy up. He's at it. And right about that time, the guy says to the owner of the restaurant, he goes, hey, what's that door back there lead to? And the owner says, what? Oh, that door? Oh, that's none of your fucking business. He goes, well, why is that door back there? And why is there a separate parking lot for your pizza restaurant out back? And why is there all kinds of fancy cars out there, Cadillac Escalades and, you know, all those mafia people, what they drive? Because it's in the north. It's pizza restaurants up in New York, wherever. And I see Cadillacs and this, that, and the other. And isn't that the chief of police car? Isn't that him? And I think that's the mayor. And isn't that the local... Boy, these are some really powerful people. So why are they all going in this back door? And he goes, what are you, fucking stupid? You know what goes on back there. He goes, no, I don't. I'm from Florida. I'm stupid. He goes, dude, it's La Costa Nostra. It's a family thing. So the guy goes, so you mean it's like one of those mafia type things? And the guy goes, no shit. He goes, well, can I go in that back room? And the pizza guy says, no, you ain't going in that back room. First of all, you haven't been through the initiations. You haven't been tested. You don't know the password. You haven't paid the initiation fees and gone through the rites. No, fucker, you're not going in there. He said, well, what do they do? And the guy goes, what are you fucking stupid? We do everything back there. We got gambling, we bet, we got the sports stuff, we got all the football games going on, the boxing events, we got roulette tables and poker and all those card games we play and all that. And we've got, got girls back there, got young girls back there, we got boys back there, got young, you probably like the young boys making, a smart ass remark. And you like a little white powder for your nose, whatever you like. We got everything. We do everything back there. And the man says, oh, so it's a mafia. So really it's not, your place really isn't a pizza restaurant. It's a cover for a giant mafia operation. And this is why we give the excuse for all these people coming in and out of your building. Because you serve pizza as a cover. And the guy who owns the restaurant really never heard someone tell it to him like that. He's like, get out of here, smartass. And he realized, you know what, I'm not a pizza restaurant. Now, when I made that analogy years ago, everybody knows I did it about NASA. And I said, NASA is not a trip to the moon. It's not a space administration. It is a front for all the defense contractors to do all their dirty shit against us down there. And they're giving all of our money away. I think it's like $84 million per day, 7 days a week, to all these contractors to build a weapon system against us. And the whole operation of going to the moon and all that stuff is just a fancy cover. You're not really going to the moon, and you're really not putting up satellites, and none of that's really taking place. It's fucking welfare for the big defense contractors. And when I made that analogy, I got fucking hit like, oh shit. It was about that time I got to visit from the black helicopter. I did. And I'll tell you that story and how my friend who owns the local helicopter academy confirmed it, because said, Z, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to shut the fuck up, because you're getting yourself in big trouble. Anyway, they hit me hard, but it wasn't until a few years later when I started putting my famous 3 M's together, the military, the masonry, and the ministry all being one, that I realized that this applies more to the church than it does anything. Because you go to the church on Sunday and you think that's a church, it's not a church. It's a storefront for a military masonic operation, which involves the trafficking of human souls. and flesh and blood. Period. That is all that thing is about. And you go there on Sunday morning and you worship an entity, which is your enemy, by the way, and their whole purpose is to get you to turn over your agency, authority, your money, your power, your control to them, the very people who cause all the trauma in this world, putting you in the trauma loop where you have no power. And then they promise you, just like any mafia operation, hey, there's an enemy attacking you, but if you give us, $500 a week hush money, we'll take care of your business and we'll keep some protection for you. Kind of like what Bob Larson does with his exorcism bullshit, which we're going to talk about in a separate video. But that's all church is. It is a giant soul harvesting operation disguised as some place to receive salvation. It's the complete opposite. And church, let me say this, if you're laundering money, and we know this is all about laundering money, and there's huge money in the proliferation of our children, there is no better place on this earth to launder money than a church. A restaurant would be number two, because a restaurant, you could say that you had, let's say you had $20,000 of sales tonight, and you could say we sold 400 covers. Really, when you only sold 100, it's kind of hard. I mean, you have to go back and do the inventories and that, but you could say it's, you sold more than you actually did. But there are some checks and balances in there. If you really want to get audited, they can find you. A church, you can have a pastor give up, and his product that he's going to deliver on Sunday is his sermon, and his sermon could suck ass. But some man decides, one man gives $5 into the tip jar, but another man gives $10 million to the church because he's so moved by this sermon. Do you get where I'm going? It's unlimited money you can wash through a church, and it's tax-free. It all goes back to the Vatican. It all goes back to these organizations that are trafficking our children. And these pastors, all they need to do is file. I'm going to take you all the way through every nut and bolt with that fucking thing. I've been in it. I can tell you how it works. And they are tax deductible, and they're in there getting paid money from these agencies, government agencies, to bring these children in, to house these children, find care for them. And no better place to hide children than right here in church. Now, Central Florida, why is the church is in Central Florida, number one? Because Central Florida is the number 2 destination in the United States by airfare. Number 1 in the state, but number 2 in the U.S. And it's where all your theme parks are. And your theme parks will have children 365 days a year with unaccompanied adults. How do we say this? Non-custodial. They'll be with adults that aren't their parents. They'll be in groups. They'll be in lots of church groups. So you've got massive amounts of children at any given day stacked in these hotel rooms. And for someone myself, being a hotel manager for 35 years of my life, I can tell you a lot of shit that goes on. That is why Central Florida is the cover for this is where all the children end up, is here. You're not going to question why there's 10 kids in that hotel room. Well, it's a group. They're here from some soccer club or some baseball team somewhere else, and they bring them all in. So no one questions why all these children are here 7 days a week. In Clermont, Florida, the reason why this is number 1 is because Lake County was founded on Freemasonry. It is a spiritual place of, it's not what you think, and it was founded on orange groves, and we know orange being 33 in Pythagorean. You used to have there's a Citrus Tower, it's still there, and you can go up the tower, and as far as the eye could see, you saw nothing but orange trees, orange groves. And again, going back to the significance of oranges, county founded on Freemasonry. But as we've learned for some of the children that survived this stuff, that, and I don't know how to say this, but let's just say a lot of children end up in those orange groves. And there's a lot of wealth over there. And as Megan Walsh, daughter of John Walsh, said when she discovered the truth of what happened to her brother Adam, who died, according to her, in a sex ritual, masonic sex ritual that went bad, that that's where a lot of this takes place. And these are very wealthy people, and They're involved in the equestrian world, which is big there, and these polo clubs. And these people develop an appetite for, they even do, and why Clermont over there? Because there's a lot of hills, a lot of large farms where they actually hunt children down on these hunting parties like the Royals do. And there's a lot that goes on over there. And hey, they put a church on every fucking corner. I used to make the joke, there's churches on every corner in Clermont there is. And all it takes is a husband and wife or one dude to go file 501c3 and set up shop. And I mean, he can go give a sermon on Sunday and nobody show up, but one person dump, $10,000 in the bucket and he's off and running, and you got the cover, and they're moving kids and they're moving money. And it is a giant mafia operation. The whole thing. Reason why I'm going after them over there so much is because these two men that I'm after, this is what they do. And these are people who have gotten hobnobbed with high-end military and defense contractors, because we got the big boys all right here. I'm not saying the names, but they're here. We know who they are. And these people are up to their fucking earlobes in children. It's the energy that they're after. In my previous videos, if you haven't watched What is Luciferianism, it's not what you think. These men do not worship Lucifer, they consume Lucifer. Lucifer is the divine feminine energy. It's phosphorus. And the greatest concentrations of this pure, wholesome, pure energy is in the pre-ejaculated fluids of prepubescent children. The ejaculation of prepubescent children. Higher concentration in the boys and the girls. But they're consuming those fluids and those liquids, and that's where they steal literally the life force energy out of our children. And if you follow the Kinsey Institute and that whole thing where they learned, Dr. Alfred Kinsey, that sicko, that they could get a child, an infant, to ejaculate up to 22 times in a 24-hour period. I mean, that is literally draining that child of its life force. And once they have a taste of this energy, they don't go back. And all the way up to going through the full conversions of adrenochrome and everything. Not only that, these children make money for them, because if they learn, and I'm going to close it with this because the next one we're going to go deep into the mechanics of how they do this. But my wife, being a hard victim of MK Ultra Monarch, which means she was fractured as a child. We're going to talk about Max Spears. We're going to go back to him teaching us and showing how they fracture the core. This horrible event that takes place that involves sodomy of the child, and what it does to the brain, the fracturing and setting up the amnesic barriers and making the child programmable. What they have developed themselves into is not only being able to accomplish this through a physical trauma, but I believe now they're doing it electronically. And what I've seen them be able to do to us, to fracture our minds electronically, they're doing. And electronic RAPE does exist. And these women out here, you think they're crazy, they're not. They are being electronically RAPED. They don't know how to explain it, but we have to get into this. And if they have the ability through the weapons used by these defense contractors to use these to cause the trauma at the level of disassociating children in mass numbers without having to physically, to have them set up so when they are going to go and start servicing these adults, that they have the process down, and along with what we call the electroceuticals, how they're getting the body to deliver these drugs by producing them. We got to fuck people. We got to fight this thing. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. It's very hard to stay focused into this. There's a million distractions to pull you off of this. And I'm trying to stay, like I said, laser focused. It's why I never looked at my situation of where my spouse was. I don't want to know. If I knew what was going on, I would probably fucking lose it. And I can't do that. So I stay laser focused on the remedy. And it's my passion. And anyway, that's where we are. So this video is the children being trafficked through the churches in Central Florida, over in Clermont. Absolutely, it is the fucking home ground for them. You got a lot of money over there, and they can move those kids in and out of the state. They got something else called fly-in communities. I lived in one because I was a pilot at one time, where you can put your aircraft in your garage, in your hangar, and you can open that door and get in your aircraft and close that door behind you and taxi off there and go and fly back and forth, and no one ever sees who comes in and out of that aircraft because it's all done inside your hangar. And they're bringing a lot of children in through these fly-in communities, and they end up out here in these equestrian centers throughout Central Florida where they can scream all they want, they can't be heard, and state surrounded by water, in and out. And you got the fucking beeline, it's called, get this, the beeline, and we know the Masonic beeline and the masonry, what they have to do with beekeeping, and that beeline running from fucking Cape Kennedy straight in across Orlando, right down the belt, and all the way to Tampa. So that's how this is where it's going down. A lot of kids didn't get pushed, do get pushed to South Florida, but it's coming in through Central Florida. We have to go after the churches. We have to go after these pastors. And I'm going to do, I don't know if the next video is going to be on marriage and what this, you're going to do fucking shit when you see how far these fuckers have sold us out. And why it's important, if you're going to consider getting married, you better think this fucking thing through. If you are married, you probably need to do what everybody's doing now, and they're fucking revoking this thing. And there's another way to do it. So we're going to talk about that. And I love everybody, and actually kind of that being a nice day. But anyway, again, thank you for comments and support and thumbs up, and I love everyone. We can win this thing. I think we already have. We're going to talk about indictments coming up. How to upload your criminal complaint and get indictments and get these fuckers taken down. We're going to talk about that. And anyway, love everybody. Out.